So one example of it is this, and this is one of the ways in which people get a lot more power. You'll go look at other people's dining rooms. They'll typically have a fan that looks like, have one that small.
It's out by the. That's what they use.
You buy them at the hardware store. If you put under a tent, keep yourself getting hot in the summer. You've seen
carpet,
people
yeah, like
on.
a carpet fan.
Yeah, like a carpet fan. Yeah,
Those.
they put a really low flow of air. Okay, your modern engine management system measures the temperature of the block and the temperature of the radiator and figures out the differential. If anybody's a mechanical engineer, heat exchanging takes a difference in temperature.
Sure.
Okay, the greater the temperature, the greater the heat exchanging rate. Okay, so as the block and the radiator temperature get closer to each other, because the radiator is not working efficiently, because we're not driving on the road at 100 miles an hour, the computer retards ignition timing and it enriches up the fuel mixture to save the engine. How it works is we're doing two things at once there. Okay, we're retarding the timing to stop it from detonating, but we're also retarding the timing to reduce less power. If we reduce less power, we make less BTUs of heat to exchange. Okay, then we dump fuel in. The fuel absorbs the heat because it has thermal mass, and it carries that heat out the tailpipe. Okay, so we're adding fuel and taking away timing to save the engine from detonating. Okay.
Cooling it down through
Right.
electronic
Okay.
things, yeah.
The only way to get an accurate power reading is to have a fan that reproduces the airflow down the road. So this thing puts out 75 miles per hour of air out of the nozzle, and it seals with the gas against the kidney grills in the front of the BMW. Okay.
No joke.
No joke. Okay, it's even curved like the nose of the car. We literally touch it up against the front of the car. Okay. Turn it up here. Variable speeds, computer control. So the point there is, if we can keep the radiator cold and keep the differential constant, we'll actually get a real horsepower number. So what the? Blow your clothes off?
Hey, turn it up.
Girls, right over here. Right in center. Hang down the wire right there from the cable.
It's a dangerous tool. Keep it away.
So the point is what a lot of the power chip companies do, they put in a dyno room, they rent one, a lot of them don't even own one, or they just have a chassis dyno, not an engine dyno, and they don't have a fan and sophisticated system like this. And then what happens is the computer now lowers the power output by retarding the timing. And then they go back in there and program the timing back up again, and the fuel mixture, and they get a 20-25 horsepower gain. They think they gained 20-25 horsepower.
Until you actually run it on the street.
Right, now it's too lean, there's too much ignition advance. And what they're really doing is they're compensating for the dyno room's inability to exchange the heat and service the engine properly. Is what they're really doing. So in order to get a good measurement, like any science experiment you took when you were in school, right? You have to replicate the real world conditions that the thing is going to run in.
Absolutely.
Okay, and when you do that, and then you go to tune it, there's 5 or 10 horsepower there. Okay, because that 20 horsepower that you think is there gets brought back as soon as you cool the car off, all by itself, because the computer takes care of it for you.
Right. Wow.
There's a shock dynamo over here. Dyna makes our own shock absorbers. This just strokes the shock up and down and gives you a force versus velocity graph. And you can set a damping curve. So we play around with dampers here a lot. So whether it's a Coney or a Bilstein or a Dinan shock, the research for the shock absorber is done here, the damping curve is done here. It's not what you can buy off the shelf. So this is a shock absorber for the rear of M3, Dinan shock absorber. Compressions on top, rebounds on the bottom. And there's different ways you can view this too. The crankshaft goes up and down, so it goes around in a circle, so you can view it as a circle graph. The Europeans love circle graphs. They call it the football graph because it looks like a football. That's another way to view the damping curve. The Americans take the football and fold it over. So you see one half of the football twice. Okay, and then all the racers take the two football graphs and average them. So it looks like that. I don't know why everybody has their own methodology, but makes no difference to me. It all means the same thing.
The numbers are the same, it doesn't change.
It's just everybody likes a different representation of it. I don't know. Oh, by the way, dynamometer also doesn't use rollers. That's the other thing we've done to improve the accuracy and also why the numbers got smaller. We found that different tire bands have different grip, different temperature of the tire has different amount of grip. How much cable tension you put in the tire has a different amount of grip. So to improve accuracy, we take the wheels off and bolt a stub axle to the rear end, and it's splined in there. We measure the power for the rear axles. Right. Then we don't get tire slippage anymore, and it's a lot more consistent. So it comes from New Zealand, that dyno.